Year 1996. We used to have a small shop in our house of a photocopier machine. I was studying in a government school that time, and after my school hours, I used to sit in that shop and used to do photocopy. After 10 years, in around 2006, I was working in IBM as a software engineer. On one fine day, while preparing for a workshop, I was flipping through that bundle of papers so effortlessly that a colleague of mine asked, "Vikas, how do you do that?" And I replied, "I have worked in a photocopier shop." He smiled at me, gave a pat on my back, and said, "You have a great sense of humor," because you could not accept the reality. My friend, my name is Vikas Jain. In my journey from studying in a government-run school to getting an offer from Microsoft, I realized two worlds coexist. A world of scarcity and a world of opportunity. And how many of you would like to access that world of opportunity? By show of your hand. Everyone. But what is required to get there? In my journey, I realized there is one critical skill that if you develop that one skill, it can help you develop any other skill that you can look for. And what that one skill is the new world order which I propose. Self-taught leadership will actually rule the world. When I was working in those different companies, software companies, I realized that all these people who are there are actually primarily self-taught. Now, first we need to understand what do we actually mean by being self-taught. Self-taught are those people who identify the skill gap that they have, identify the resources that they want to access, and using those resources, develop the skill. And they do have mentors. These are the habits of self-taught people. And just look around. Identify any industry, and what do you see? The top 1% in that industry are self-taught people, yes, no? Just look around and see any industry, you will find that top 1% people in that industry are primarily self-taught. And that was my journey, my observation, and it actually became my mission. I was working in McAfee that time. McAfee, which is an antivirus company. I worked with a team of people who are primarily self-taught, and I could see limitless possibilities in this world. That if we can just develop this one skill, which is ability to study on our own, we can actually fulfill any of our dreams. This world is having billions of dreams, but only few hundred courses. Those dreams cannot be fulfilled through those 100 courses. And I have seen people making a compromise on their dreams because they could not find the right course. Yes, no? In this crowd, has this happened to you or someone nearby? Yes, it has happened. So can we find another way of achieving something? Can we find another way of fulfilling our dreams? And that became my dream. To create an ecosystem where people can fulfill their dreams, and one of the way is becoming a self-taught person. I started observing people, I started writing books. I wrote my first book, Top 10 Mistakes While Making Career Choice, because till now I don't know the right way of making a career choice. But these are the common mistakes that one do. And then the second book, which is more about how to develop the self-taught behavior. I started studying from these people. I personally met this person who is of Alan Memory, who is founder of Truecaller app. I personally met Frederick Herren, who is a global speaker. I met Brian Tracy, who is a management guru. I met Suman Saraf, who is actually founder of BlueStack. And I learned a lot from these people. Just to tell you some story, Suman Saraf, when I was studying his engineering in a college, decided, and as many of the students are there in front of me, just imagine, can you make a similar commitment for your life? When he was studying in engineering in his college, he decided He will read all computer science books in the library on his own. He will read all computer science books in the library on his own, and he did that. Till today, in his company, he is known for his unprecedented capability to teach himself anything. When I interviewed him for 2+ hours, he told me, Vikas, if I don't study for half an hour in a day, even though I have done great office work, I feel that I have wasted my day. These are the stories of self-taught leaders. Frederick Harron. You must have watched so many videos on YouTube. I wanted to become a global speaker. I watched a video how to become a global speaker. I watched that video, liked that video, but I did something which is a bit different. I wrote an email to that person. How can I learn more from you? He replied back, because you can watch 2 other videos. I watched 2 other videos, replied back, how can I learn more from you? He replied back, read all my blogs at professionalspeaking.com. For next 3 days, there were 108 blogs which I read back to back and replied, how can I learn more from you? How can I get mentoring from you? He said, I only mentor people who are members of a Singapore association, and to get his mentorship, I chosen to take the membership of that association. Then I asked, can we have a Skype call? How will I get the mentorship? He said, there is this conference happening in Singapore 6 months down the line. Why don't you fly over to Singapore and then we will have a chat for 1 hour? And to get his mentorship, I even subscribed and registered for that conference. And my friends, this photograph was clicked in India Habitat Center, Delhi, 3 months before the conference, because he chosen to take an India trip. Now, when my friends saw this image, they said, Vikas, you are lucky. Just a thought. Was I became lucky just like that without doing anything? I did something for that. If you are looking for a good mentor as a self-taught person, they will test your abilities, that whether you do the right stuff or not. There are so many people who will just ask, read that one book and come to me. And people don't turn up. And I am saying another thing, that if he would have given me that 1 hour before making me go on through that long process, the quality of that 1 hour would not be that great. Technically speaking, if the expert is at the level of, say, on a scale of 1 to 10, at the level of 8 and 9, I am at the level of 1 to 2, the expert is at the level of 8 to 9. If we are having a conversation, what will be the level of my conversation? 1 to 2 or 8 to 9? 1 to 2. But if my mentor is giving me some resources that before our meeting, just study all that stuff, so my expertise level will be raised to the level of, say, 3, 4, 5, and then when we will have a conversation, my conversation happen at the level of, say, 5 or 6. That's the beauty and the opportunities that a self-taught ability can create in this world. And I came out with this book, The Secret Behind Super Achievers, Self-Education. When these people talk about education, they have a different perception about education. And we'll talk about it. Bill Gates, a super achiever in this world, known as a college dropout, but there is a missing link which is not celebrated and marketed. The missing link is Bill Gates is having a public personal website with the name gatesnotes.com. His personal website is gatesnotes.com, where there is only one button, books, the books that he has read. Imagine a college dropout person having a personal website and sharing only books. If you follow him on his LinkedIn, he is only sharing the books that he has read. He writes blog. In one of his recent blog he wrote, and if you can just read out that statement, it will show you the kind of self-taught confidence that he has. I have always prided myself on my ability to teach myself things. Whenever I don't know a lot about something, they are not shallow learners. Whenever I don't know a lot about something, I read a textbook or watch an online course until I do. These are the behaviors and the self-taught capabilities of leader. And that's why I say, Bill Gates is a college dropout, not a learning dropout. That's a key message. Whatever you want to become, you need to find out the skills that are required to be there, and you need to build those skills. And how you can build those skills? There are different ways of doing, where self-taught is one of the options. So that's why I propose this word, and this is my lifetime social project, the real education. Whenever we are having these conversations that education is this or education is that, I think we are confusing between the education system, which is school and college as we know, and the ideal definition of education, which I call the real education. So school and education, college system is one of the education system that I know. The other system is lifelong learners. So there are training programs which are happening around the world, workshops happening around the world, and there are people participating in those learning different training programs. And third type of people, education of top 10% people, which is primarily self-taught. So what we are doing, we are actually creating an ecosystem for these self-taught people. I actually mentored few students and have actually seen that we can nurture this capability. We can change our pattern of pedagogy, we can make that change and make them learn on their own. So they are not dependent on us to complete a chapter or a subject. I have worked with even XavUltra's, I call these XavUltra's, to get a job, a high-paying job, which they could not imagine based on their college background. It can be done. There are strategies. That's what I'm working on, building that self-learning ecosystem. That these people need different skills. Our XavUltra's need different kind of support from us. And can we provide that support to them? I believe we can. So there is this book, The Secret Behind Self-Education, for you guys. You can access this code, which is Xavier's Kolkata, and you can read that book. And primarily what I'm talking about here, that if we want to make India great, we need to develop the skills. We need to bring back that status of Vishwa Guru. And when we are talking about Vishwa Guru, we are talking about becoming a teacher, not the ruler. Vishwa Guru by developing capabilities, by developing the ancient skill set that we used to have. If we can lead in the artificial intelligence, can we develop that kind of capabilities? The current way of education cannot support the Industry 4.0 capabilities. When the shelf life of a skill is just 3 to 4 years, how we can build that capabilities? And if you see, all the leaders in all these upcoming fields are primarily self-taught. They are joining some online course, they are reading through books, and they can achieve whatever they want to achieve. I talked to few students before getting here, students of this campus. They have a dream, but they are trying to find out a course which can help them reach that dream. My dear friend, just one observation. कुछ मंजिलों के रास्ते जंगलों से होकर गुजरते हैं, पर हर कोई सड़कों पर चलता नजर आता है. Thank you very much.